welcome to the Money Matters Empower Her podcast, where we're redefining what financial independence looks like for women. I'm your host, Donna Cates, and each week we'll dive into powerful stories, expert strategies, and practical tools to help you take charge of your financial future. The women sharing their journeys here aren't just telling stories, they're change makers. Their experiences, strategies, and financial outlooks carry real power to inspire transformation in your own life. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating a divorce, or simply looking to build your wealth with confidence, this is your space to grow, learn, and thrive. Let's get started with today's episode. Hello, and welcome to Money Matters Empower Her podcast. This is where we have honest, upfront conversations that inspire women to grow their influence and navigating life's pivots and are focusing on building a life and wealth that reflects who they really are. So I'm your host, Donna Cates, and I'm honored to be joined today by Rosalind Sedacca, and she is with Child Centered Divorce, actually the owner of Child Centered Divorce, and she is a divorce and parenting coach. So I understand, I've known Rosalind for a little bit, and I understand that she's doing some extraordinary work in the world, and I can't wait for you to hear her story and how she got here, what she's done along the way, and how she's helping people rise as they grow on purpose. So, Rosalind, welcome.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's start with the heart of it all. Can you take about 90 seconds and tell us what it is you do, and more importantly, why you do what you do? What's the mission behind the work?
Okay, so I'm the founder of the Child Centered Divorce Network. I'm a divorce and co-parenting coach, and the work I do is helping parents make the best decisions regarding their children before, during, and long, long after divorce. And this was not my original career. This is not an area that I thought I'd get into, but midlife, I had a divorce of my own, and my son was 11 years old. And I put it off for a long time because I didn't want to make that terrible decision to get a divorce, but it needed to happen. And then back then, there wasn't a lot of information to support people like there is today. And so my ex and I had to figure out how to raise my son from 11 years old on post-divorce. And we did. We made mistakes. We figured things out. We had a pretty amicable relationship and worked it through. And my son was off in the world after college working. And one day he came to me in his early 20s, just out of the blue, and he said, "You know, Ma, you and Daddy did a really good job with the divorce, and I just want to thank you because most of my friends whose parents divorced either hate their parents or are very angry at them, and I think you and Daddy did really a wonderful work with the divorce situation." And I just let out such a sigh of relief. And I realized at that point that I had learned so much about what to do and not do. It ultimately became the foundation of my work in my life. And I founded the Child Centered Divorce Network, became a divorce and co-parenting coach. And we're about to celebrate 20 years doing that in 2026.
Well, and I have to say a couple of things. Number one, when you're sharing that about your child, I've got another situation I was going to share with you about a woman. She's a counselor. That's her profession. And she had a really difficult divorce, unlike yours, it sounds like. But she always took the high road. And that's what she always said to everybody was, you got to take the high road. If you always take the high road, your kids are going to appreciate it. They may not now, but one day they will. And she shared a similar story that her 25 and 28-year-old came back to her later and said, "Mama, you did it right." And
Yeah,
now I understand. So awesome.
that's the gift that we want for all of our clients to know that there's a happier future ahead if you do take the high road and do it right. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So I know you're clearly building something that's meaningful. I mean, you've been doing this for 20 years and you actually started it before doing this type of work was really fashionable. So,
Right.
so you've been around the block a time or two, but what's one of the biggest lessons life has taught you so far, whether it's professionally or personally, and how's that shaped the way that you're showing up today, both as a leader, a woman, business owner? Tell me about that.
Well, that's a great question. I think the answer to that for me is that we can't change anyone in life other than ourselves. I know most women, especially, spend a lot of time in their life trying to fix and change other people, and they pick partners in life who are good people, but if only they worked on this, if only they did that, and then they try to fix them up and improve them, and they're dealing with frustration, constant frustration and aggravation, and in the end it never works. We can't change anyone other than ourselves, and I wish the schools started teaching that in kindergarten to everyone in school growing up, because it would change life dramatically. Once you realize that, then you start looking within, which is the only place where you could make serious changes and make decisions about how am I going to do things differently in life from this day forward, because whatever I've done before wasn't working exactly right. And whether it's a divorce or whether it's career moves or a bunch of other challenges in life, that's usually the case. And so in my work as a coach, I've really seen that again and again and again when parents are coming together saying, we're about to get married, we have innocent children who are being impacted, and we don't know what to do to protect them and make sure we're not scarring them from the divorce. And then they point the finger to the other partner who and blame them for the responsibility for the divorce, and they don't have the insight to realize that it takes two to tango in all of those situations. And if we could look within and make small shifts within ourselves, do things a little differently, respond differently than we would have, not respond when we used to respond, anything that's changed is going to create different results, different outcomes. And that's what we're looking for in every facet of our lives. In order to move ahead and have a different outcome, we need to make shifts. And when we make shifts, it forces the other people we're involved with to shift accordingly. And suddenly you're seeing changes that never would have occurred otherwise.
Wow. And I love your idea that we need to be teaching this to young children. I mean, it's just part of the curriculum because I'm trying to remember when I first saw the control circle. I know a lot of counselors use the big circle that says the stuff that's inside you can control, but all this stuff on the outside of that circle we can't control. And trying to control it is just going to create chaos for you. So yeah, and I mean, I know it was not as a kid. I mean, I never saw that till well after college. So yes, I support that 100%. Well, I want to talk about impact because the work that you're doing, you're empowering not just women, but people in general.
Mhm.
You're empowering them to be heard, to find emotional clarity, and learning how to negotiate with each other so that they can be good parents. Can you share a recent client story or just an example of someone who found their voice or changed their path because of the tools that you're offering? And what kind of what question or mindset shift do you most often see when people are making that pivot?
Yes. So one example is the couple came to me, and I love what makes me different than most other divorce coaches is that I like working with both parents together because I don't believe mothers or fathers do a better job. I've seen wonderful mothers and fathers. I've seen terrible ones. And so I don't believe one gender is superior to the other. And so I like to work with both and share the same information with both as early on as possible to get the best results as quickly as possible. So one father was very upset because his wife had an affair, broke his heart, and that's why they're getting the divorce. And he wanted to share with his kids, we wouldn't be having this divorce if it wasn't for your mom who did this and this and this, feeling very justified, of course, in his story. And we could all understand that. We could understand the emotions behind it. However, when you have innocent young children, 8 or 12 years old, sharing with them adult information about adult relationships, which they could never comprehend ever, which there's nothing they can do about to fix it or change it. What outcome are you looking for? Do you want your children to hate their mom? Is that the gratification you want? Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense either, does it? So when we discussed this and he understood that a child-centered divorce is respecting the children and talking to them at age-appropriate levels. And maybe when they're grown adults, if you want to share about mom's affairs, that's another decision and another conversation. But that's when they're grown adults. You don't want to be bringing this up because there's nothing your children can do about it, and you don't want them to start hating or being embarrassed about their parent when none of this had to do with their parental relationship with mom. He got that. He understood it to his credit. And so he was able to have a child-centered divorce with his wife, do all the things that I do recommend doing. And they had a smooth transition. The children were able to flow through accepting the divorce decision, making all the changes that happen, and moving ahead in the future. And that was as a result of understanding the philosophy and understanding the tools that first and foremost, we want to be protecting the children we love. And we have to think about them emotionally and psychologically, what's best for them, before we make decisions that may be good for us. Does that make sense?
Yes, it absolutely does. And I can't tell you the number of situations that I've experienced, and I'm sure you have too, of the parents even using the tools as using kids as a tool, kind of in a vindictive nature, controlling nature, all of the negative things, and that hurts no one but the kids. And it's just
Exactly.
really, really tragic. So I'm grateful that you're doing the work that you do. And I really appreciate too hearing that you're choosing to work with both parents versus just one. And a lot of the exposure that I have is with the court systems actually requiring two people to go to co-parenting sessions with a counselor,
Hmm.
not by choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Understand.
being forced into that situation. I can't imagine how productive that is.
If they can accept me as an impartial person I'm not here to represent mom or dad. I'm here to represent your innocent children who don't have a voice and can't understand exactly what's going on, but I could speak for them in protecting them emotionally and psychologically. It very often will reduce the conflict because both parents are nodding. Yes, the thing we can agree on, the one thing we can agree on is that we love our kids and we don't want to harm them. Well, if you can agree on that, then let's talk about the things you'd never do that because we know they harm the children, the things that you should be doing because they make things much easier for everyone in the family. And suddenly we're talking and having a conversation that we're all connected to and agreeing about. And that's having the best future for the entire family. Because I talk about the fact that you will always be a family. The
Mm.
form is changing. It's another chapter in your lives. It's not a romantic relationship anymore, but you'll always be a family. And with that understanding, you're looking long term. This isn't about getting through a divorce, which, as you know, ends at a certain period of time. This is about going through the next few years, the next few decades of your life and your children's lives. And you want to make sure that they know that they're loved and protected by you and that you made the best decisions possible every step of the way.
So empowering. And I would love to hear, Rosalind, from your perspective, what's the biggest challenge in your industry right now, especially for women that are navigating these major transitions like divorce and co-parenting and redefining their lives? And how is it that you're equipping them not just to survive, but thrive? I'd love to know some of the tools. Like, I can imagine having this conversation with a couple and they're all in concert. Yes, 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 this makes sense. We're doing everything for the kids. But then life happens and things blow up. So, you talk to me a little bit about the coping skills or things that you might be educating them on.
Yeah, so we have to be aware that there's certain things that trigger children and harm them the most. And one of the most obvious, but isn't always, people don't always pay attention, is fighting around the children. Studies have shown that children are literally scarred for life when they're being exposed to fighting and bad mouthing one another with the parents. And it happens all too often. And it's so easy to fall into that rather than saying, we have to table this, let's not talk anymore about this until we're going to meet at another time in another place when the kids are asleep or the kids are somewhere else so we can continue the conversation. When the children are exposed to conflict like that, it scars them emotionally. They're helpless to do anything about it. They don't know which parent to side with or protect, which puts them in an awkward situation. It's devastating to feel that they have to take sides. They feel guilty, they feel that they're failing, and they're trying to fix things, and they can't fix it. So it's a no-win situation for children. So if parents just stop fighting around the children, and that includes eye rolling and body language and tone of voice and all those things, when kids can pick up on the fact that you dislike their other parent and you're making it known to other people around in the room or on the phone, it hurts them. And so by protecting them and not doing that one thing, and making sure you don't badmouth the other parent to the children so that they feel ashamed for loving the other parent because you don't love the other parent and they do, all of those things create such conflict for them. By avoiding that one thing, life is simpler all around for the children. And again, the children are going to be watching and learning from you. You are the role models, and they're going to hold you accountable for how you handle the divorce when they're grown adults. And that's why I always ask clients to think about the fact, how are our children going to feel about the way we handle this divorce and the decisions we made about it when they're grown adults? That's a very sobering thought, and very often a parent who's about to do something that's a little more intense may say, this may not be the smartest thing for my child. And so it's important for parents to answer certain questions that can stop them in their tracks before they make decisions they're going to regret.
And what I'm hearing too is just kind of the pause
Right.
before you take action, right? It's
For
kind of
sure.
like if we could just take a breath and think it through a minute, we might choose another outcome, another way to present ourselves.
Exactly.
Well, and I know right now the world is shifting really fast. Everything's, growing, changing, AI, all of the things, ways that we're communicating, connecting, healing, all of the things. Where do you see your industry, this coaching industry, and your mission heading in the next 5 to 10 years? And how are you preparing yourself and your clients, emotionally and strategically for that evolution?
Well, I think it's very important for everyone to understand that we as humans are attracted to the human heart. We're attracted to authenticity and honesty and character qualities in the people we do business with, in the people we certainly want to do therapy and working on those deeper issues with. And so while AI is a valuable tool for everyone and can be used in many ways for getting ideas and other resources that we may want to access, it can't replace the human being. You're talking to someone because you're feeling their humanity and you're feeling their caring and their support. And when you're going through something like a divorce, you need support first and foremost. You need to know you're not alone. You need to know that there's someone who has not only advice, but insight and wisdom and experience to help you overcome some of the challenges, especially do it more quickly, avoid a lot of things that you don't have to experience, and help the transitions for everyone in the family be as smooth as possible. So I think we're all dealing with knowing how to handle AI in the best possible way, but we have to be mindful of the fact that in certain professions, such as counseling and coaching and therapy, you want to be dealing with a human being who is resonating with you, because it's all about energy, and you can't replace energy with the printed word or a machine that's talking to you. It's not the same thing. So I feel that there will always be a need for people to step up and reach out and provide a support system for people who are in need.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I will tell you, I do a monthly divorce workshop and we do it virtually. And I always encourage the women that attend to show up and be on camera. And the reason for that is that we're creating a sense of community, and when they can see other women that look like them, their age or not, they just get that little bit of connection, and that one thing, just that visual, being able to see somebody, and they're in the same circumstances as you. I think it really does make a difference.
Oh, you're so right. You're not alone is such an important component of this kind of work. You're not alone, because no one's been through divorces and divorces before, and so it's a very challenging experience. It's so new and different. Even if you've had one before, it's still new and different the next time around, and so you definitely want to know that other people understand what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, and can help and support you.
Absolutely. Well, I want to shift gears and ask you this question. It always reveals something really powerful. If you could sit down to have lunch with any woman, living or deceased, who would it be and why? And what would you love to ask of her?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, someone who comes to mind very, very quickly for me, and of course there are several people, obviously, but one who comes to mind is Oprah, because I have a great deal of respect for Oprah, the way she's handled her life and the way she's really stepped up for women and done things to support women in so many ways, especially their emotional well-being, and remembering that we need to acknowledge ourselves and be proud of ourselves, because if we don't come from a place of self-love, we can't accomplish anything, and we can't be able to love as fully to other people. So I would ask her about what she thinks of the future, looking ahead, and how she sees humanity coping with the challenge of balancing the incredibly new, sophisticated technology that is now in our world with the humanity and the needs that we all have to reach out to one another and not feel alone and feel accepted and acknowledged and validated for who we are. So, and I think it's a challenging time for humanity in many ways, and I'd be interested in hearing what she had to say.
And I would love to be on a fly on the wall when you have that conversation. So awesome. Well, I would love for you to share with us how our listeners can connect with you, where they can find your information if they want to learn more about the work that you're doing.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, so all of the information, I'm a divorce and co-parenting coach, so I do one-on-one coaching nationally and internationally. But in addition to coaching, I have a lot of books and courses and programs that I've put together. Sometimes people can't afford one-on-one coaching. Sometimes people are just in a place where they want to reach out and read something or get some guidelines and tips. So I have a lot of material. Some of it is free. Right on my website is an ebook on post-divorce parenting success strategies, and some of it is low cost, but covers a lot of the material we've been talking about and much more in depth. So it's all at childcentereddivorce.com. That's childcentereddivorce.com. And I also offer a complimentary initial session, because I feel that it's very important that both of us want to work together and feel that we're a good fit with one another. So I always have that initial conversation to see if that energy is right for moving together, and whether I could recommend a course or a program. I have a special ebook on breaking the divorce news to children that's very, very unique and innovative, And people around the world get that book, particularly because that's one of the most difficult conversations any parent is ever going to have in life, is breaking the divorce news to children.
Awesome. I need to get a copy for me to share with clients as well. So thank you so much for being a guest today, and especially for sharing your personal story and your wisdom and just your heart with us. I know that women that are listening are going to walk away having a renewed sense of purpose and just sense of possibility after listening. So, for everybody that's tuning in, remember that no matter where you are in life, it's never too late to redefine success on your terms and build a life that genuinely reflects your worth. So, thanks again for being with us today, Rosalind.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for tuning in to the Money Matters Empower Her podcast. I hope today's conversation left you feeling inspired, informed, and ready to take the next step in your financial journey. Remember, building wealth isn't just about money, it's about creating a life that aligns with your goals and values. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with the women in your life who deserve financial empowerment too. Until next time, stay confident, stay empowered, and keep building the life you want.